All right, so global people, THONAR is coming out, and she is a wolf unit, probably one of the better wolf units, kind of like the Miguelda of wolf, and she's really good. But a lot of people always have this question like, yo, Marilli, what is, in your opinion, is the best team for the wolves? And I feel like for maybe casual and free players, I feel like this team that I recently showcased last time is the best team for like casual and stuff like that to at least beat the wolves first floor. This team is very solid because you have Freyr, and then you have Bond, who is pretty much reducing their attack rate stats, pretty much making you take no damage. This is one of a defensive build. A lot of people had asked a lot of questions in my recent video showcasing this team, so I want to pretty much answer a couple of them before I go into the video. Now I'm gonna try to remember to timestamp this video, so if you want to skip past this because you already know how this team functions, go ahead. But for the people who are wondering a lot of the questions that was asked yesterday, I'm gonna try to answer them all today. Now, people randomly said, yo, what's the gear? Even though I showed the gear at the end. Now, the gear that I used recently yesterday was attack crit resist on Freyr, HP crit resist on THONAR, and triple defense on Bond, and attack crit on King. Now, that set was wrong. Alright, you want to try to have as much defense as possible, but it gives you like an idea on how good it is that you don't need that much defense for this team to work. Because I was rocking like 8k defense on my characters, and that team was still working pretty well. But yeah, that was my original set. But right now I'm running attack defense, HP slash defense, attack crit, and Bond triple defense. Now people also ask what is the best roles for Bond. I personally just use resistance. It's very good. Now if you want to maybe use crit resist or maybe full defense, I kind of like resistance, but it all depends on you. Someone also asked like, why do you use Tarmiel? Because Tarmiel has triple defense gear. For the most part, yeah, it's triple defense gear, so I just use them just because of that. Because you want to have as much defense on Bond as possible, so you can end up not taking as much damage, so you can keep stacking your passive. And also, a lot of people ask like, yo, Marilli, what if I don't have Freyr? What do I use instead? I feel like Scotty is probably your best option at least getting like close to like the third floor. The only reason why I don't like Scotty is because you end up relying a lot on RNG for your THONAR, because you have only one stance removal character, which is THONAR, which could be very sucky at times because you can end up having like the worst hand possible with THONAR. Because like in the later stages, being able to remove stances is very clutch. That's why having Freyr and THONAR is really good, because you have 2 chances of getting a stance removal card, because you need it at silver. So yeah, that's why it's really terrible. But I feel like Scotty is probably your best option if you don't have Freyr. But don't be mad if you don't get the cards you need, okay? And maybe even Green Molasses. I just don't like Green Molasses. Obviously, she gives you immunity to ignites, but her card is kind of like a dead card, and I feel like with this team you need a lot of damage, especially because the wolves can heal themselves with crazy recovery, especially if they do damage to you. But other than that, I had somebody who recently just tagged me in a Twitter post where they use Elat, Fredo Meliodas, King, and Bond, and how they was like pretty much inspired, where they beat the first floor finally with that type of team. So maybe instead of Freyr, you can use Elat, and then you try to push for a Lat ultimate on the first stage, you know? Or every time you get the first phase, you just try to push for a Lat ultimate as much as you can. But other than that, what's another question people ask? They also want to know if you think that can you do this with low dupes. And honestly, as I play more and more with the wolves, I feel like you could beat the wolves with a low dupe Freyr. And the reason why I think that is because with Freyr cards, they hit crazy hard. If you don't know, Freyr really boosts his attack related stats as well, alongside of being able to get the King's Shield to boost your skills as well. And then you have THONAR passive as well. So Freyr regular cards, bronze, silver, it's super hard. And the only reason why I like having dupes on Freyr is because that depth damage can sometimes come in clutch, making it a lot easier to makes it a lot faster. course. But it also can come in clutch where you feel like you're not going to kill. But I never had that moment where I needed that death damage. The only time I used the death damage is because when I wanted to like go through the wolves as fast as possible, you know. But me personally, I think you really don't really need it. Dupes on him because his ult hits super hard. His regular bronze cards hit super hard. THONAR ult hits super hard. This team is just a nuking fest. All right. But other than that, yeah, I feel like I answered most of the questions that people have been really asking. Like I talked about the gear. Oh yeah, the artifact set. Oh my god, how can I forget? This is the artifact set I use, which is the new one. It's the one where you get immunity to freeze when you had 5 gauge. I feel like this is a must because in the later floors, people don't understand this, but in later floors, the Black Wolf has a passive where he randomly freezes a character, and this could hurt your run massively. Because what if you get a character who has the ultimate like Freyr and stuff like that, and he gets randomly frozen? Or you have King who gets randomly frozen, so now you don't have his shield, and you end up now taking damage on your bond, kind of ruining your run. That's why I feel like this is probably the must-have artifact set if you're gonna be running this type of team. Now there are other teams that people use, like more DPS type teams, like with fast build and stuff like that. But if you are a person who want to do the defensive run, where you don't really need bare minimum any defense or HP and stuff like that, try out this team, and I promise you it's gonna work wonders. Just hopefully you have this set though, this artifact set. It's very clutch. But yeah, so we're gonna go into the video with me showcasing this type of team. Let me know in the comments if I should showcase the Scotty team as well. I feel like that'd be a cool video to show. I feel like Scotty would be pretty fun. Like imagine she just reduced the wolves HP to not HP, attack to 0. I think she could reduce the attack as well, right? That would be hilarious. Her plus Bond would be hilarious. But again, hopefully I answered enough of you guys' questions, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the first floor. Like I said before, I'm gonna try my best to timestamp these so you guys can know when I'm going to the next floor or not. But basically, what I like to do on the first floor is the easiest one, so I just like to spam random cards. You don't really have to worry too much about this one because it's pretty easy. All you have to do is just pretty much just stack up with your passive for Bond, or you can just finish it if you really need to. Again, this is the first floor, so it's not the hardest one. As you can see, you're barely doing damage to the shield. That's because the damage reduction that the King gives with his shield. So again, I'm just spamming cards that I don't need. All I'm doing is just stalling at this point. Again, it's kind of nice having a double stance removal because in the later stages, having double stance is going to be pretty clutch, especially with RNG. It's really needed for the most part. But as you can see, I'm just going through this as quickly as possible. I'm over here debating if I should use my card. Now, my THONAR is HP/defense, but as you can see, she's barely doing damage. And as we get to the later floors, she ends up HDSing when she has like defense down or attack debuff on her. And as you can see right now, you can see it, they are slowly not doing damage with the White Wolf. Again, this is what makes the team so good, is that pretty much it takes stalling to another level, pretty much allowing you to take pretty much 0 damage from the wolf. That's why I like this one for people who are like maybe casual or free to play, because it doesn't really rely on you having like dupes or a lot of attack or anything like that. Now again, I'm not trying to explain too much on the first floor because not really much to explain, just me clicking cards. You want to try to have your King shield all the time, so make sure you have enough room for King cards if needed. Now on the phase 3 of this wolf, you have to get rid of them both at the same time. That's why I feel like having dupes is kind of needed. But as you're using like your AoEs, you can just slowly get rid of both of them at the same time. You first want to target the White Wolf because the White Wolf is the one who has a cap to him. So you want to bring him down as quickly as possible. He's also very tanky. See, he's capping out most of the damage. And now we just want to just target him. Now the Black Wolf, the only thing that makes him annoying in this stage is that pretty much he removes your buffs. Again, these are blue buffs, not gray buffs. So it's very hard to do damage. You can see right here, I'm ulting. I didn't really have a choice. I didn't really have much anyways. Then I go back to targeting the Black Wolf. The reason why I just do that is because I really don't have anything. Also, I was like banking on having another AoE. Now remember guys, I'm 6'6" Freyr, so I have like 100% death damage. So I'm just AoEing for the most part. And then we just ult the Black Wolf, who has no damage cap, and that's GG. We also got a really good passive, surprisingly. Now, you probably asking yourself, Marilli, did you have to reset for this passive? No, I did not. I just got lucky. All right, I just got lucky. Now we're on the next stage. Now we're going to be basically doing the same thing, but we are going to be using our cards in a different way. In this one, it's very hard for you to do damage with your THONAR card. So what you want to do is use both of your Freyr cards and then your Bond card, which is a charge card. And pretty much you want to just stack up then, because what you need for THONAR is that you want to have 3 single targets attack, so you get your buff, and pretty much you'll just have a stronger shield. Now, as you can see, you didn't double AoE, which is clutch. We also pushing for a King Ultimate right here. The reason I like to push for a King Ultimate is because he gets a defense buff, which can be very annoying on this stage. Now, if you want to push for your ultimate, guys, you want to make sure you also have like a stance removal card at the same time. Now, you could ult while they have the stance up, but you really want to try to remove that stance and ult, because I'm probably going to hit for like 1 million, because you got Freyr and also THONAR attack. I'm also going to take away his ult gauge, pretty much stall. Okay, I only hit 540 die, but it's all right. I didn't crit. So yeah, you're just stalling, guys. Like, that's why I like this team for casuals, because you don't have to, like, it doesn't require you to have like built out gear or anything like that. All you're doing is just having patience. And you can see I patience the freaking attack with THONAR. See, that's what happens when you have on the later stages that you have the attack down or even a defense buff. Your attacks with THONAR is gonna be patience on bronze, unfortunately. That's just how it be sometimes. Your attacks just get patience. Now, if it was a silver card, it would not get patience. So that's something you can look out for. Again, it's all fine because like he's not doing no damage, guys. That's why I like this team. Again, there are other teams out there, guys, like the more offensive build, and I'm pushing for King Ultimate as well, because it looks like I don't have any other card, so I don't want to waste my chance right here and not pulling another one. I want to try to empty out my hand as much as possible. Again, once you end up losing your king card, it kind of ruins a run. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've played this team a lot, and the one thing that really hurts is that you're gonna lose your king card, and you pretty much is a dead run unless he somehow doesn't attack you. It's pretty much a dead run at that point. Because I had moments where I know the skills of the wolf, and he just ends up just going for a single target instead, or maybe a buff. So I really don't have to attack him. Now I just finish him off right here. What I like to do right here is that I like to go for the 6/6. I like to go for my ults on the Black Wolf. Now the reason why I want to ult the Black Wolf is because he gets really annoying. Every time on the phase 2 of the later stages, the Black Wolf gets mega annoying. So what you want to try to do is use your ultimates against them, and try to get rid of them as quickly as possible. Now you also got to pay attention that on the last phase on floor 2, you'll have the passive that he later gets on floor 3, where the Black Wolf will randomly freeze a character. That's why I said the artifact set, the new one, is super important, because you become immune to freeze once you have 5 gauge, which I like to try to do that for my Freyr. Sometimes I like to make sure that he has like 5 gauge for the end of the stage, but if not, you want to try to make sure King at least has 5 gauge, so you can just slowly try to build out your other ultimates. Okay, I thought I took that out. Oh well. So I reset. Still got a good passive afterwards. Wow, I still got a good passive. So pretty much what I'm doing is just gonna go for my regular cards, and I push for Freyr ultimates. Again, I have higher dupes in my Frere, so it was like a no-brainer to go for him. Now this stage, he gets a revive if you think if he lasts like 4 turns, or is it 4 attacks? This is something where he gets like a revive. They both get a revive. Now on the floor 3, they don't get revives. So that's why the floor 3 is easier. People say it's easier than this one. They don't get the revive. And you saw the revive right there from the 5th attack. Again, I have the Death Ultimates. If I didn't use the Death Ultimate right there, I still have my King cards ready. That's why I say you really don't need that extra Death Ultimate. Because your card's going to hit hard regardless. Like, look at Freya cards. Look at Freya cards right now. Just look at it. 192. 182. I'm doing ult damage right now. I got 249. I'm doing ult damage. All right, guys. That's why I said, yo, if you have Freya cards, bruh, they're going to hit hard regardless. That's why I say you don't need dupes. Like, Freya is going to hit like a truck regardless. Look at that. 155. THONAR, 62. 94. GG. See? Freya hits like a truck, guys. You don't need dupes or anything like that. This is going to be the last one, last floor right here. But yeah, as you can see, Freya hits like a truck, guys. You do not need dupes on them really. But it is nice to have. I took out the all thing because I had it set to I didn't skip any of his ults. And it was kind of annoying seeing his ultimate every single time. Now I do the same thing where I'm going for my Freya cards and Bond cards, because those are only people who can do damage right here. Because you want to try to do damage to get that THONAR attack stat boost. Now the thing why I hate about this is that sometimes when you're using like this Bond thing, you end up like taking you end up like getting hit with a crit, which can be pretty sucky. Because if he crits you while you got the shield up, start to take a lot more damage. Like you saw right there, he crit me. It said instead of 2k, it hit like 5k. But as you just slowly like taking away your gauge and stuff like that, it becomes known that yo, he can do no damage to me afterwards. Like the only thing that could mess up your runs is you not pulling king cards for like forever, right? That's literally the only way you can mess up your run, is you not pulling king cards forever. Legit, that's legit it. Right here, we're gonna attack again. 230. Freya hitting 454. Look at that damage from Freya, bruh. I wish I had him 1/6. I could just show you guys like, yo, you don't need dupes, man. I wish, man. As you see, I'm just gonna ult right here because I didn't have no stance removal. Now debating if I should like get rid of a card. This would have been a bad run if I ended up not getting a king card. But I ended up like getting this card. Now, guys, watch this. See, I have no king card in my hand. Look at the skill cards that the boss has. Now, if you don't know, that red skill is a fireball, which will be a single target. Now, the only character who has low HP on my team is Freya. So the wolf usually go for the person who has the lowest HP, which is Freya. So you can see right here, I'm kind of in a good position where I'm pretty much going to move my cards. Hoping that next turn I do get a king card. Now, if he did go for king, or not king, Bone, I would have to reset. But good enough is that I got lucky. I got lucky that he didn't have an AoE. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have a messed up run if you end up not getting any king card. Now, again, I was just lucky enough to get him while he doesn't have a AoE. And he went for THONAR. That's all right. As long as it wasn't king. I think when he uses fireball, he goes for somebody random. I thought he go for usually the lowest HP, but I think with his fireball, he goes for somebody random. Again, I was just lucky to not get hit with it. On my Bond. And now I'm starting to take no damage. No damage. And no damage. So now we're in the clear, guys. We have no damage on us. We're pretty much gonna be going through this guy easy peasy. Now remember on phase 2, the Black Wolf, he freezes a random character. What you want to have is 5 gauge, so you'd be immune, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Now you probably ask yourself, really, why you just didn't break the stance first? And that's because I didn't want to kill. All right, I didn't want to kill right there because I didn't want to go into the stage with the black wolf, and he ends up just randomly freezing my my king. So I'm doing a lot more stalling than I need to do, but that's because I just had like poor RNG with king cards. And I think I do kill right here. So I'm ended up like wasting a lot of cards in my hand. So I just pretty much just waste cards. Yep, I just go for... Okay, so yeah, I do stall. All right, so I do stall, but it was like one moment where I did like just pretty much go for the kill. I think it's right here where I go for the kill without getting like 5 gauge. And he ends up not doing no damage. So I pretty much do this. Again, guys, you're just stalling for the most part. This team is so good, man. Like this team is just so good, man. I'm sorry, bruh. If you thought any team, other team was good, bruh, this team is amazing, bruh. Like, what is whole goal? It's just super good. Now I'm over here debating if I should like ult randomly or like go for my card. Because I ended up not getting really anything. And he frees my king, but because I had the artifact set, guess what, guys? You get to remove that. Like, look at that. I removed this freeze on my king because I was so close to my ultimate gauge. See, that's why this artifact set is super good. Because it makes this so much easier. And then Freya hits for like 165. Like, what the heck? All right, now we get rid of you. Now I kind of messed up with this one because I had to reset. Like you already noticed why I had to reset, guys. Like I wasn't doing no damage. That's because Freya didn't have the attack buffs on him. I'm gonna restack it right here. All right, and then we restack it. Everybody, he's gonna freeze somebody random. I believe it's Vaughn that he's gonna go for. Nice. Now we have a chance to get Freya ultimate right here, which that means it's pretty much GG, guys. The Black Wolf, or on this stage, he doesn't get a revive. Again, all he does is like randomly freezes a character and pretty much take away your buffs. But he ends up doing like no damage to you. So it ended up just being like GG. And that's over. Ult. 163. Oh my god, my stuff was lagging so hard at the end. I don't even know why. I gotta fix my settings. I gotta fix my settings. I don't know why it's just start being a little stuttery and laggy. It's like skipping frames crazy. It's all right. You guys get the point. All right. The Bond team is godly. All right. I think you guys get the point. And you just take away your gauge. Oh my god, animation is fire. Oh yeah, I was reading manga this time, so that's probably why. But yeah, you guys get the points. The Bond team, probably one of the better teams to use against the Wolves, especially if you're a player who don't have the offensive capability to run all the other teams. Like I said before, other people use like Best Gother and stuff like that. They do use like Scotty as well, but I feel like this one is pretty solid at what it does, which is pretty much allows you to play defensively enough that you end up taking no damage from the Wolves, allowing you to get a chance to pretty much get rid of them as quickly as possible without taking any damage on your characters, which is very good for people who have not good HP or defense stats as well either. Again, if you do have dupes in your characters, that's also sweet, but I feel like this one is a pretty solid team. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like and subscribe again to the channel. It's Marilli, guys, and I'm out. Peace.